This worked so good. This is a faux stain, all natural product. I copied the Junk Gypsy's famous kitchen Pinterest blog. I've got the link in the description. I did it all with the DIY all natural products. Watch this and you'll see how I did it. Look at this. If you look at the pictures, I did it. Wanted to give us some money to take a trip. So my husband said, you pick wherever you want to go. Well, Hawaii would have been my first choice. Hawaii isn't going to happen, so I picked Junk Gypsy in Round Top, Texas, and then we skipped on over to the Magnolia. I didn't really want to do that to my husband, but he said, really, you go ahead and pick. And he said, we'll just go ahead and do your freaky sheiky. That's what he calls what I do, freaky sheiky. So we're trying to walk out the door and my husband hollers and says, hey, do you know where my track shoes are? His Skechers, which are grandpa's shoes. My name is Shyla Kourt. My business is Decorizing Your Life. I have a storefront called Medley Market, open one day a week on Saturday. I watched a video on Junk Gypsy. Pinterest, famous, they said, of her kitchen cabinets. And so I watched it and they used Sherwin-Williams Aquarius stain. And I hate working with stain so bad. It stinks, it doesn't clean up good, it's hard to use, you've got a lot of prep and steps. So I thought, I'm going to see if I can recreate that look with DIY paint. I used the old 57 because that looked the most like Aquarius to me. One coat on the entire thing. And I don't know if you're gonna be able to tell, this is one coat, and then I went ahead and put a second coat just to see, because when you layer stains, which we made a DIY stain, much less stinky, much less messy and forgiving. This is 2 coats of it. So I think depending on the look you're going for, test it out and do it. She did this color in her kitchen and her sister asked her, are you still happy with it? And she said yes, and it's a very daring thing to do cabinets in a color. Her kitchen is huge. 14 feet ceiling, and it can absorb a lot of color and a stain that they put over that just to kind of deepen it. But we're going to use colors. I'm going to use the dark and decrepit together. So I've diluted dark and decrepit, half water and half the dark. They top coated. I like it without the dark and decrepit over it, honestly. But because we're trying to duplicate the Junk Gypsy sisters look, we are going to put it over the entire thing. When you put stain on, you normally wipe it back. Guys, this worked so good, I'm telling you. This is so the key to not using stinky, messy, unforgiving stain. This is it, guys. Look at that. So I actually got to go again to the Waco, Texas Magnolia store. This time my mother-in-law was with us because we were traveling to see my stepson graduate to the Air Force. We went in and she was like, everything's like one color. She didn't love it. She doesn't like that look. We stayed 30 minutes. 30 minutes. And then I thought, okay, it'll be okay. We'll go try out the cupcakes at the bakery because they had just opened that. And guess what? It looked like it'd be an hour before we got in, so we left. Yeah. So that I consider is laying your life down for others. Okay, that's really not, but you know what I'm saying. It hurt. It hurt my freaky sheiky fillings. Way to do it. I didn't sand it, but you know, you wouldn't want splinters and rough stuff, so you would sand your surface a little bit if it's a kitchen cabinet. It's the 57 with the dark and decrepit over it. And let's never use stain again. You can mix and customize your colors. Acting. Measure your ratios out, write it down. Look at this. This is so good, guys. Okay, I am gonna go ahead and wipe it back a little bit because it was pretty wet. So that's mermaid tail. I personally like the mermaid tail better. And this is old 57 with the dark and decrepit. Cowgirl Coral. DIY paint can be diluted 9 parts water to 1 part paint and not lose its color saturation. We'll spray so the paint moves. This was about half and half, and it's really plenty to do more big top. Okay, so here is the Cowgirl Coral, and you can still see all the knotty wood in it. Practice your ratios for the look you're going for. 1 part water, 1 part big top, 1 part paint. There's so many different ways you can do it. Like a kitchen cabinet, I would go and seal it with a couple of coats of big top. It's super fast, super easy to work with, and totally worth the time. And puts a wax over it, which helps be water resistant and helps, you know, fingerprints not smudge. So that's an idea. Okay, so there's these 2 colors. Let's keep going on here. A lot of people already have their cabinets painted. So let's see how this would look like crinoline to me. This surface that is on this board is a latex paint, so this faux stain will adhere different. It looks a little bit more streaky, and it will have to be sealed with the water-based big top coat so that it doesn't chip off. The actual DIY paint, our raw wood, is much more porous. Okay, so here's the back without the old 57 glaze that I mixed up to make faux stain. So here I am taking an old palette board that is really weathered, and I'm putting the same faux stain old 57 on it and wiping it back, and it works so good. I really love it. And I'll use that raw wood board and show you the difference there. So those are the same stain, 2 different boards. Coming up, I'm going to use cherry pick stain, same mixture, big top, water, and the paint. And look at this color. Oh, it's gorgeous. It really, really works good. So let's wipe some of this back. This wipes back so good. Oh, cherry picked, and this one is mermaid tail. You have to, now that I use these products, these all natural products, you almost have to twist my arm to use a natural product. So I had to hold up a queen bee color to show you how good those all look together. Here, the mermaid mixture and the old 57, I did them every other board so you could see the difference in them. They look amazing. Just don't forget to wipe it back after you get it on, and don't forget you can spray throughout the process to keep the paint moving and to be able to wipe it off. Okay, coming up, I wanted to show you the stamp on the board, how this is a see-through faux stain, and look how good it does. It just covers great. It gives it a little bit of a sheen. You don't really have to seal it if you don't want, but if you want more protection, put some clear big top alone over it to kind of give it some more protection. Here I mixed dark and decrepit and the mermaid tail together, and it really looks like a deep teal. All right, I used an actual cabinet so that you could have a Junk Gypsy comparison. But guess what? I should have sprayed the whole surface with the water bottle first just to give it some movement and so that it evens out the porosity, because when you're actually doing a real stain, you use a pre-wood conditioner to do that. This you don't have to, but don't forget to do it, because I did, and it looked kind of blotchy, as you will see, but it still was really good. So our top coats that will seal the DIY paint or make your glazes like I showed, or faux stains, are dark and decrepit. The big top is clear, and then we have an old and gray. So these are all things that work like a stain. I use this raw wood board and do the old and gray on here, and this flower is a raised stencil. This is with the dark and decrepit and a stencil. So it looks like a good walnut color, or weathered wood gray. So I just wanted to let you know those are amazing, and they mix with the paints. You can dilute the dark and decrepit with clear patina or with water, because they're water-based, and change the colors. If the Junk Gypsy sisters hear this, please let them know. There's an easier way to do it than what they did.
I just know they're going to want to be my BFFs.